What's up, guys and girls? It's Vision, and today I want to talk about item looping. It's an advanced form of crafting using the new woven echoes that are available. This can be used to take one unique item that you have already and turn it into a bunch of copies of those items that you can then use on the Nemesis system to try to get LP, or take items that already have LP and use it at the Farsight turtle to try to get higher LP. And basically what this does is it turns one unique item into a full batch that you can kind of shuffle around for more chances at better items. Let me give an example of this. The Aurora time glasses I have, this came from one Aurora's time glass that I had, and I was able to turn this into multiple copies of tier 1, and you can even try to gamble those the items with LP at the Farsight turtle for higher, like I said. So I'm going to walk you through this whole system. For this to work, basically what you need is you need a unique that doesn't drop from a boss. You need the Weaver tree nodes where you can imprint. You can see here I'm already doing this strategy with Titan's Heart right now because I'm trying to get more copies of tier 2 or 2 LP Titan Hearts. How I have this set up is to keep this more organized, I have one stash tab set up for anything with LP, so we'll just keep using this Titan Heart as an example. My Titan Heart has 2 LP already, so for anything to be potentially an upgrade over this, I need a Titan Heart with 2 LP. So these 1 LP are not great for me, but what I can do is I can use these at the Farsight turtle for a chance to gamble it up to a higher LP. And I'm doing that with Solar on Step here also, 1 LP Solar on Step, and I need 2 LP to be able to even compete with what I have equipped. This is for all of the ones with LP lower than what you have, or what you want. And then I've got one tab set up for eggs, and this uses the Nemesis system, Egg of the Forgotten, and this turns this gives you a chance for all of the items without LP to potentially have an LP put on it when you put it in the egg and then go through the Nemesis system. I'll show all this in practice too. So the 2 woven echoes that we use for this are called Farsight Turtle. Farsight Turtle lets you gamble any item with unique. A big window opens up and you put a bunch of uniques with LP in there, and it either takes away the LP or you get more LP. So you can use that if you have a bunch of items that are below the LP level that you want to try to gamble up, or they get reset back down to 0. If they get reset back down to 0, then you can shuffle them through the Nemesis system. And a good woven echo for that is called the Conquered Tower, which is a 6-floored tower. Each one has a Nemesis, and it lets you just quickly shuffle items through the Nemesis. So let's use the Titan Heart as an example how this would look. So say I just dropped a Titan Heart. And the first thing I do is put them into my imprint slots. And now when I'm out farming, when I'm out doing my echoes, pushing my corruption, doing my harbingers, whatever, I'm going to start seeing a lot of Titan Hearts dropping. Extra Titan Hearts. They're not going to be exactly like this. Some will have no LP, some will have 1 LP, some might be higher if you're lucky. But the important part is you're going to have a lot of copies, and this is going to go into your item batch that you're shuffling around. Let's pretend I go out and farm now, which I have been. These are the Titan Hearts that I have. I've got some 1 LPs here. I don't have a 0 LP to put in the egg, so we'll maybe just use this Solar on Step instead. Let's go do the Conquered Tower first so I can show you guys what that looks like. It's called the Conquered Tower Woven Echo. You can buy these at Mask too for the Woven Faction vendor in exchange for Memory Amber. So if you ever need some of these echoes, if you're not finding any dropping, just go to Haven of Silk and you can buy some from the vendor depending on your rank. As you rank up, more become available. You might have to rank up some before that's in his inventory. But this is the Conquered Tower. And I just want to note here again that this is only for uniques that don't drop from bosses. It has to be stuff that drops out in the world, what you're imprinting. Otherwise, you're not going to find them dropping. So, actually, I'm already doing one, so let's just clear through a couple of Nemesis here so we can start a fresh one. Alright, and here you go. We have an Egg of the Forgotten, and this is where you'll take your copies with no LP and put it in the egg. So I don't have any Titan Hearts with 0 LP, so we're going to have to use the Solar on Step as an example. But any of your batched items that drop with no LP, you put them in the egg. And what this does is it either adds LP or it puts a random stat on it. So let's put this in, we empower it. We'll kill it quickly and go upstairs and see what it gets. So this one put a random stat. This one's kind of a bust, but sometimes this does give LP. And that's where I got all of these from. Let's find a stash. This is from eggs that have increased my legendary potential on these items up to 1 LP. So the next step of this, Farsight turtle. Maybe you like these 1 LPs. Maybe you only have just a regular Titan Heart equipped. And so just having 1 LP is already great for you because you can put whatever stat you want on there and it's immediately an upgrade. But in this example, I need to go a bit higher. I need a 2 LP. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to the Farsight turtle and gamble all of these. And it could take away the LP, but it could also raise the legendary potential up. So let's go do the Farsight turtle. Basically what you're doing in here is you just have to defend this crystal in the center. I don't think it has health or anything like that it can lose, but you just have to kill these waves of enemies. Alright, and that's that. So now you interact with this item in the center, and it has this little window here. You can even access your stash from this location. So we're going to start putting in our 1 LPs. If I'm not clicking the side of my stash there. Alright, so we start putting in our 1 LPs. I need at least 2 LP, so any of these, I'm not going to be able to use them because my 2 LP is already going to be better. But you fill up the inventory and then you hit re-roll. Okay? And then these all... I didn't get lucky on any of these. It took them all down to 0 LP. But this is okay because that's where the shuffle starts. These new 0 LP Titan Hearts are going to be fed into the eggs. This is why it's a loop. And so we run these back through our Nemesis, and sometimes they'll get 1 LP, sometimes they'll get a random legendary junk stat, or something that you don't want, and you can just stash those away somewhere. If you're wearing one with 1 LP already, and you turn this into a legendary, you can always sacrifice this to re-roll one if you want to, but that'll be in a different video. This is more about the shuffling. So you can actually interact with this multiple times. So while I'm here, we'll do these solar on steps also. I have a 2 LP, so not all of these are useless to me. Reroll. And they all went down to 0. The turtle's pretty stingy, guys, so it's not always going to work. But when it does, it's a viable way of trying to get those items up to something comparable to what you have on. So there we go. We have a full new batch of items to run through eggs. And this cycle kind of repeats over and over as you continue to try to min-max whatever item you're going for. So, one thing that can help with this, if you're planning on farming, if you're planning on running a bunch of items through eggs, something that I would suggest is putting Conquered Tower in here. Imprint it, and this gives it a chance to show up in your echo, so you don't have to burn through a bunch of Conquered Tower woven echoes out of your own stash. They'll just appear naturally. You also don't need a cemetery or anything like that to set that up. These just start appearing. And that can make it so as you're going through your map, you'll find those and can just run your eggs then while you're working on other stuff. So just to run through this one more time. Item looping is when you take a unique item, not a boss drop, any unique item. You only need 1 to start this chain. You plug it into your weaver tree in the imprint slots, and then when you're out farming, you start dropping copies. You take the 0 LP copies, put those through eggs, and it either gives it LP or it puts a random legendary stat on. The ones with LP, you can keep using it if you want. Seal a stat on there that you like. When you get to a point where you need higher LP, well, then you start putting them in the turtle for the chance to re-roll. And those either get reduced down to 0, where you can feed it back through the egg, or it goes up to 2 LP, and then you have a new item that you can craft on. That's how I was able to take... I'm playing hardcore. I found one Aurora's Time Glass, and that's how I was able to turn that one into all of these 0 LP that I could run through an egg, a bunch of 1 LPs that I crafted on for various stages of gearing. But this, combined with being able to pick one of the stats that you want when you do tier 2 dungeon or higher when you're making a legendary, makes it pretty easy to get a nice piece of gear and then continue working on it and trying to find better versions of that item. And this is the sort of thing where you would use this anytime you are trying to replace like a legendary that you have with a better version of it. Is when you would start this loop. Or just make copies if you have like a red ring or something and you want 2 red rings. You could do the same. Just imprint it, go out, run, farm some up, and do the whole loop to try to make better versions. But anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful. I'm really enjoying the season so far. I think this is the most fun I've ever had playing the game, honestly. I don't know, maybe when I was a new player and there was a lot more stuff for me to discover, but the whole gearing process right now and just the gameplay loop is solid, and I'm having a lot of fun with Season 2, and I hope you guys are too. Once again, I hope this video is helpful. I've got more stuff coming out soon that'll be kind of in the similar vein of using some of the new mechanics that the game has to offer and finding ways to leverage those to your advantage. But in the meantime, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace.